Here we are.
Hey,
We're back here. We got Joe Ivory on today. You want to tell us something about yourself?
I am a Colorado Springs native.
Okay.
41 years, born and raised here. Kind of like a second generation native. Family kind of came here, settled here, found it beautiful. Born and raised here. Love music, love art. Always been an art student, music, business orientated. Um, been reading books and spent a lot of time in the library since I was about 5. It's
Okay.
like a second home to me. So I got knowledge the old school way with the Dewey Decimal System
Yeah.
locked away. Uh, Japanese, Italian
Okay.
background, heritage, ethics and stuff like that. Father wasn't in the home, so my grandfather was the male role model.
So you did have a
Very
male
old
role
school.
model.
Yeah.
Good.
And my older brother, of course, he was 10 years older than me.
Okay.
Small little family. Yeah.
All right. So what kind of books have you read? What kind of books are you into?
Everything. Everything, man. Psychological, mysteries. I love old college textbooks
Okay.
because what I found was when I was sitting in the library, I'd go through all the different sections and just find stuff that was interesting and pull it off the shelf and
Yeah.
start looking at it, reading it. But old textbooks, I found a lot of contradictive things in it. There was stuff in older textbooks that they took out of newer textbooks, and then when you were able to put two textbooks together that are 20 years apart, you see a knowledge gap, and
That's
then that leads down a different rabbit hole. You know?
yeah, that's interesting. So psychology I think is like 90% theory. So I think it keeps changing as we go. That might account for some of those gaps. That's interesting though. That's kind of cool to get that perspective to where you're looking at it
Yeah,
from one perspective and you see the other perspective. So that's kind of badass.
right. Like there was a lot more emphasis where they were trying to figure out how the brain worked and how the body worked and the
Okay.
autonomy. And they were doing crazy stuff that they wouldn't even mention in newer days. Like it's oh, you take a brain surgery, for example,
Yeah.
right? And you have brain surgery. That's cutting somebody's head open. Like to be somebody qualified enough to know what's going on medically to do all that. There was a person that first took a dead body and did that, and it was like, ugh, like weirdo, you're a weirdo. But thanks to that weirdo and writing some kind of book from some kind of different perspective, they've removed certain perspectives that sometimes I feel offers deeper insight to know where to go and research.
Okay.
You're like, oh, what about that? Where would that have led? Or why did they take that part out? And is there more to that?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Have you ever heard of Robert Greene?
Yes.
So I have
Yes.
read a lot of Robert Greene's books. I think he is fucking brilliant. That man was just a loser for 45 years of his life. Like he went to France and he doubled as a French guy and got an accent down and everything, and literally had people convinced that he was born in France. And he did like waiting jobs and shit like that. So I really, really love what he writes about and the stuff, the perspective he has on life, because you don't want to hear it. A lot of stuff he talks about, you don't want to hear. You're like, oh my god,
That's
like
what I, yeah, that's what I like when people push the perspective.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of dark stuff. A lot of the ways we think, a lot of the ways we operate that we're not even aware of, they can sound slightly dark. We have these instincts in us and the way the world operates that we sort of it's not very friendly. But it helps you.
So so I'm guessing to just be precise, you're the 48 laws of power,
That was the first book I was referencing right there, 48 Laws of Power. Yes.
right? And then the laws to human nature, human behavior, psychology,
Yep.
influence. I agree with you. He comes from a point where it's almost like watch out for how you're going to get messed with, how you're going to get fucked,
Yeah.
and be the first one to get to fuck if you're going to get fucked,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is very brutal in some senses. But I mean, everything that you read about, like Harvard level business school,
Okay.
is they push and push hard to all their students that we don't give a fuck about your feelings.
Yep.
I don't care about. We're here to make money. We're here for the bottom line. We're here to grow. We're here to get that power, which I think references back to that Robert Greene mindset that he carries with his rules and his structures.
Okay, yeah, I've read The Art of Seduction, which is actually outlawed in Germany. You're not allowed to own that fucking
Oh
book in
wow.
Germany. Yeah, it's he mentions the feminists in Germany actually shut that down, but he mentions gay people like in that book. It's very well rounded. He's not like you can seduce a woman like this, and I like how he goes back in history and gives examples of in all of his books, he'll go back in history and give examples like, look at this, look at what Bonaparte did, look at Cleopatra. So I really got into his books, but I'm also I'm subject to some confirmation bias, and I like to just read the books that I like to read, and that keeps me closed off somewhat.
I like to dig more into the history side. Like I really do feel like I also liked Machiavelli.
Yeah,
Have you ever read The Prince?
I haven't, and I don't know a lot about Machiavelli.
So he rewrote a lot of stuff, and I mean, people know him most commonly from the Tupac reference. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
faked his own death.
yeah.
He was the first guy to fake his own death. But Machiavelli rewrote The Art of War,
Okay,
which is by Sun Tzu. And he also wrote this book called The Prince. I like more of The Prince because it describes a topic of a normal kid growing up and then coming into power and then trying to meet the needs of the people.
yep,
You know, like when you're a king and someone says, "Oh, I got this castle." Now you're a new king. You are a prince. You're about to be king. And when you're in control of an area, they're gonna have somebody come in and try to take over your castle or your area. You're gonna have wars or battles or things like that and threats to your area. And so then it hints on the fact that okay, well, in order to do this, I need people to risk their lives, and they're not gonna risk their lives for free. So, do you want to be a warrior? Do you want to be compensated for your risk of being a warrior or protecting this town? Well, then we're going to tax the people, and the taxes are going to go to compensate our warriors. And now you don't have to worry about there being that because the people are being provided for, and you know your money is going to protect you. So when that war comes in or that battle comes in, those guys are going to step up and you can step down, and your taxes are paying for that. So he creates these systems, but then it grows into
okay,
this bigger thing that becomes harder to control because it's like, oh well, we need food. Well, if we can get food from this town next to us that has an abundance, but it costs something.
yep,
So then you get more taxes, and then you see what starts to happen here is a power structure where the people are paying more than what they're making to get what they need, but they want what they want. Someone needs to provide what they want, and it kind of gives insight to that dynamic of a power struggle in The Prince.
yeah. And I'm sure
You
you
know,
got to be pretty plugged in psychologically to sell people on that stuff too. You got to kind of know how people operate.
well, what do you do when your people start getting upset at you because the taxes are too much?
Yep. So
You know,
what do you
and I
do?
think there is a balance. It can't go to trash like some of these guys are saying, like that Elon Musk
Yeah.
to jump off top.
No,
A
you go.
$1,000 for a little coffee K cup is what he found was what they were paying. Like in
Explain that better. I've never heard that.
so they did the whole digging into things when Donald Trump was first president,
Yeah.
and Elon Musk went through and started looking at all the things that people were paying for, how much they were paying
Oh
for.
yeah.
He had found out that federal government buildings were paying like $1,000 for the little coffee K cups that go into the coffee machines. $1,000 for one K cup. We we don't pay $1,000 as civilians, but $1,000, you know, like what's going on there? They were spending more money, and they were finding out where people were spending more money,
Yeah.
and I think that goes back to like the Prince and the 48 Laws of Power. Like, if you lean more on the 48 Laws of Power, you can end up to the point where $1,000 K cups exist because it benefits you.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
where as the Prince, it's more like it has to be for the people, and if it's not balanced for the people, then you can end up with a destruct. It shows that it can end up with destruction.
Okay.
Like, oh, what a tangled web we weave, when at first we practice to deceive, is what Shakespeare says. You know, And if you noticed, some of the most craziest things have the most webbed, like, intellect to them. Like, for example, lies. There's like 16 different types of lies.
Yep.
There's 40, no, like, all these different types of cheatings,
Yep.
mental, emotional, all these different types of things. When you build these different perspectives to be webbed out and can be taken all these ways, what you open the mental and social experience to is deception,
Okay.
you know?
That's
And
kind
that's
of
coming from the Shakespeare, 48 Laws of Power, Machiavelli, some of the things you asked me if I read. Like, yeah.
yeah. I really got into that. So you are what do you do for a living, and what are you passionate about? What do you seem to have your hands on a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. If something drives me, I try to grab it by the bulls while the opportunity strikes,
Okay.
and develop as much as possible on it. I've done a lot through my years. I've done construction. I've done prison work. I've done social work. I grew up with adults with disabilities in my home.
Okay.
My mom took care of adults with disabilities and had a master's in psychology.
Okay.
So that was her career field. And I done a lot of work in understanding that and working with people in that field. Um, Through growing up and being 41, I got now diabetes and I got arthritis and I got gout and different things happen. So I'm actually in school for computer stuff like
All right.
Salesforce administration, coding, and computer work, so I can work from home, and going through school for that as a career right now. I'm almost through that, and that's opening up a lot of opportunities for me to switch directions while also chasing my passions and dreams, which is my local community. I've been here 41 years.
Yeah.
This is all I know, Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
If anything, I want to be a piece of my city and try to give as much as I can back to it. And I love music
Okay.
a lot, And I see the rap and the hip hop side of things struggling a lot. A lot of deception. To go back to what we were saying,
Okay.
you know. And I don't see it as a career as much as a hobby that maybe one day will be a career. I wrote in a few books called the Local Legend Handbook to help artists guide them through a path.
Okay.
Offer mentorship. I do graphic design work here and there that helps me out. So
Where are those books? Where do you have your books?
Amazon.
Where are they
KDP
available? Where
at
could
the
we
moment
find? Where
is
could
where
we,
I have my
could
book.
people? Huh?
Yeah, you can go to Amazon,
Okay.
and if you have a Kindle, you can actually get it for free if you have a Amazon Prime subscription.
Okay.
Local Legend Handbook, and it's a digital download for you guys to read and get. If you don't have Amazon Kindle or Prime, then it's $30.
Okay.
But it comes with appendages. It comes with outlines on how to write a gig contract, how to get a tour checklist going, how to represent yourself with some documents that show you what the documents look like and how to write your own.
Okay.
It walks you through how to prepare, how to understand what education to seek after. So it's really just a basic thing. It doesn't go into depth and walk you through every step, but it definitely guides you. Learn this,
Yeah.
know this, then go to this step and learn these. And if you learn each chapter, by the end of the chapter, you're pretty much prepared to make local moves in your music
Okay.
industry with each. And it's written about at a 5th grade level so that anybody can read it, no matter who you're struggling with at any point in
Okay.
time. I don't want to deny access to knowledge for anybody.
Yeah. So it's in layman's terms. Do you
Yeah,
what do you think drives you? Because you do seem very busy. What drives you most? Do you think your passions or money?
purpose.
Purpose. Okay.
Sometimes my passion lacks. I'm
Okay.
gonna be real. We're human.
Yeah.
The drive isn't always there sometimes. That's something that has to be real. Everybody
Yeah.
acts like it's go, 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 get, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's laying in your bed and drinking tea and chilling for a second just
Yeah.
to get your mental back.
Yeah, I like that. So discipline sometimes has to replace passion or even motivation because none of us,
Yeah,
I've been going to the gym for years and years, and people think I'm so motivated, and that's not it. Sometimes I sit on the end of my bed at 5 in the morning and I think about my life, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
am
No
I
one
doing
talks
this?
about those moments, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that
Yeah.
is exactly where discipline kicks in right there.
I think that's where purpose kicks in. When you have a
Yeah.
purpose, it's like I don't care if I have the drive, if I have the passion today. This needs to be done because there's a purpose to get it done. There's
Yeah.
a reason
I've heard some
it pulls me.
perspectives that men were not meant to be happy. Okay, so if you're chasing happiness, you're always going to be fine. Like, let's say I want this certain car. So I chase after it and I chase after it and I buy this fucking car. In 2 weeks, I don't even remember yesterday's drive, right? Because that car settled in and now you are not as happy as you were when you first got that car. So now you've got to chase whatever else, whatever dopamine rush that you can chase to receive more happiness. I think personally that purpose, I think if men have a purpose, that keeps us going and that replaces. So we're not just chasing cheap dopamine rushes. We got some kind of
Right.
extended gratification going on there. And I think that's really what makes life life.
Yeah. No, really. I think the purpose doesn't, it's not to put purpose on a pedestal either, but having purpose, it can be anything. It can be watering your plant, it can be taking a shower that day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like just to be refreshed and clean. That's purpose.
Yeah.
And that gets you out of that bed and out and going. But stacking purpose is where it becomes important, and that's where sometimes we have difficult.
Yeah.
We deter from stacking the purpose. I showered. Well, can I eat now? Can I go on a walk now? Can
Yeah.
I, like,
Yeah.
how many purposes can I knock out in one day?
Yeah. That's probably really helpful when you first start trying to get going, or if you hit some sort of a slump. I know Jordan Peterson talks about that a lot. He says make your goals very manageable, almost like a third grader could accomplish that goal. Because if you accomplish that goal, that's still a goal you accomplish, and that's going to push you toward the next goal. But if you put your goals too far out ahead of you, it's easier to get. It's easier to not catch that fucking goal because it just became a very hard goal. But if you,
I also believe in like mind hacks,
okay,
mind tricks, mind hacks. Like I'll give you an
yeah,
example.
yeah,
I'm Japanese, right?
yep,
So we believe in just carrying a certain thing because it has a domino effect on your chi in your
okay,
life, your energy. Okay, so two things that I try to do that are simple. If you want to have everlasting effect and have it affect multiple things in your mindset in your life, as weird as this sounds, make your bed. I'm pretty sure you've heard that. Make your bed
oh
every
yeah,
morning.
oh yeah,
When you get out of
oh,
it, just make it, right? And wash your dishes and have an empty sink before you go to bed
yep,
in the kitchen. Okay? I'll tell you, these two things I think have a domino effect without you even trying on multiple other things throughout your day.
okay,
And I'll go into depth.
yeah,
The making the bed. It's the last thing, the first goal that you achieve. You've already achieved a goal, and it's pretty simple these days. Most people sleep with just one blanket, anyways. So you just fix the blanket, throw it over the bed. Simple. It's done. When you come back to that at the end of the day, it's coming back to a fresh thing, a new start that's already completed for you to get into. Your mind recognizes that in the subconscious,
okay,
the part that you doesn't see, as a completed task and something rewarding. It's like a dopamine
yeah,
kick right before you go to bed. Like
yeah,
I'm sliding into a clean bed real quick. Sheets aren't messed up. I don't have to do extra work before I relax.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy to relax. Right?
yep,
So you set that energy into easy relax from the start of your day to the end of your day. Second, your dishes have stagnant energy. There is an 8 hour period to a 12 hour period where people can sleep. Like a 12 hour period is like a mini coma, but
yeah. I'd
teenagers do
like
it.
to reach out someday.
Like, yeah, but let's teenagers do it. But they it's stagnant energy for a long period of time, and it's nasty and it's moldy and it's dirty and it's grimy. If there's gonna be any negative energy, that's where it's gonna go first
Okay,
to kind of smell itself out to find its home.
okay,
You wake up, you usually have coffee in the morning. Your sink is the first place that you go, so it piggybacks off of the bed thing.
yep,
It's a clean sink. You have stuff to do. Your dishes are all away. There's not stagnant negative energy that you're waking up to and then going into a different environment after you made your bed, and then you go into the kitchen and it's not traveling energy wise
Yeah.
between environments. With just the simple kitchen sink being empty, it does the same thing
Okay, so
and helps keep your energy clear and
yeah,
rolling.
go ahead. So I I like that, and I've been actually thinking about that the last couple of months. Right. So I wake up in the morning, my dishes are in my fucking sink because I eat a lot of fucking food. So I wake up in the morning and my dishes are fucked. The first thing I have to do is cook and eat. And all of my I live by myself. I got like
You're already stacking tasks on you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. So that's also a way to kind of supply a small dopamine rush for yourself instead of chasing outside sources of dopamine. You are now setting yourself up for future dopamine.
right, you wake up to a clean sink, dopamine. I don't
Yeah,
have a
that feels
huge
good.
burden of task on me.
Yeah.
You go to bed, you slide into, I don't have a huge
Yep.
burden of a task. These two things complement like a yin and yang
Yep.
almost with each other.
And then
And if you just do those two things every day, you'll start seeing it impact.
yep. And then maybe that will save cognitive energy toward something that is going to produce more in our lives than just sitting there getting stressed out, having to do the dishes for 20 fucking minutes in the morning. You can use that cognitive energy towards something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
Like reading.
Yeah.
Like reading. Sit down and read and have your coffee in the morning.
Yeah,
Take your mental, you
so
know?
I just downloaded on Audible a book by David Buss, and he is probably the world's leading evolutionary psychologist. And I have been fascinated with evolutionary psychology for years now. So he wrote a
Okay.
book. He wrote a book, Why Men Do Bad Things, which is going to be. It's a very controversial freaking book. Like it talks about everything in there, like every downfall. It talks about domestic violence. It talks about rape. It talks about, and it traces it back in time to an evolutionary perspective. And so I'm really excited
Huh.
about reading that fucking book. Like it's really fucking controversial.
While we're talking, I'm doing research as well
Okay.
as you bring up some of these things that I don't even know about,
Yeah.
and it's saying that it's evolutionary psychology, the difference between men and women, whether some sex differences have evolutionary origins,
Yeah.
jealousy and infidelity and aggression and violence.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So
uh,
I've listened to lectures by him, right? So
okay,
jealousy, from an evolutionary perspective, jealousy is mate guarding. You as
yes,
men, especially in men. So men, we do not know if that baby is ours. A woman has never given birth and then looked down and wondered, is that my baby? Right?
that's a thing. Women, he's saying that women question their own if that's
No.
my baby, even though it's attached to them. No, it doesn't. Okay,
Yeah, so
I'm tracking.
women don't have to go through that. Every man,
Yes.
I don't care who you are, every man who has had a baby has had that thought travel through his head, whether it's in the back of his head, no matter how good they're doing, every man will think for a second about whether that's his baby or not. So even domestic violence. So I heard him put domestic violence as a mate guarding strategy to help deter infidelity. So I mean the stuff he talks about, bro, it's ugly, but it's fucking fascinating because he can link it back.
So I want to introduce an idea while I'm thinking about this,
Yeah,
while
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hearing you. Um, the id. You know what the id is?
No.
The id, the ego, the id, the identity
Okay,
of
yeah,
who
yeah.
you are. Okay, right? Like if we took everything that you just said about this guy and we add, if you don't give a about anybody else because you're fully confident and aware. You ever hear of self-actualization?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of it.
Okay. So reaching self-actualization, do any of these things matter at that point in a mating perspective, it seems like he's speaking from a very primordial type of thing.
Yeah.
But aren't we capable of evolving? I mean,
Okay.
to
So let's
a
explain
higher.
self-actualization and uh, identity to people
Okay.
watching, just in case they're.
Like, I'm not gonna get angry if I know, like, if I know a girl to be a hoe,
Yeah.
I'm not going to invest. I'm going to be more self aware of
Yeah.
myself and move accordingly to not be a victim of these weird situations. I'm going to find a girl more confident, more secure, have different ethics, have different morals, and I'm going to be more self aware of what that looks like in the opposite sex to not
Okay.
be a victim of this pyramidal mindset, which I agree exists with what you're saying. This guy is on to something,
Yeah.
100%. But very few of us are trying to evolve past that, aren't we?
Yeah. The thing is, all right. So speaking of evolution, so it's hard to evolve past something that is set in your subconscious, I
Okay.
think. So a lot of the
Okay.
moves we make, a lot of our tendencies come from evolutionary perspective to where they're, they talk about the reptilian brain or the lizard
Okay.
brain. The brain, a
Okay.
portion of our brain predates spoken word.
Okay.
So a lot of our evolutionary traits are embedded right there in our evolutionary brain. And it sounds good to be able to try to evolve past that. And I like self actualization. Let me ask your opinion on something. Do you think
Okay.
that in order to have that mindset that you just spoke about, right? Like
Right.
if you know she's a hoe, if you do this, if you do that, do you think that that takes a little bit of self work though on
Oh yeah.
yourself to
Oh
convince yourself you don't just deserve some hoe?
well, you got to go through a hoe to find out what a hoe is
That's
sometimes,
yeah, yeah,
and then have enough awareness that you didn't have enough standards, and then look into yourself and go, I didn't hold this standard or that standard,
yeah,
which opened the door to this possibility. And it is looking at your flaws
yeah.
more than anything. Like I think.
Yeah, so from evolution, so where we're kind of headed on this line of thought. So from an evolutionary perspective, the hoe would be a hot pan on the stove, and if we're gonna continue on and just put it all on our evolutionary psychology, that would be us touching that hot pan on the stove over and over and over
And over and over.
and not, which I think, all right, so if let's go down a little side road here. I think a lot of trauma can have us doing that. So
Yes.
I like how you put those steps to where, okay, you have to go through a hoe to figure out a hoe, right? You have to get burnt. You have to get burnt to figure out. And it's funny because people tell us for generations and generations, don't touch that hot pan on the stove. But I don't know one person who has not burnt their arm or burnt their hand on a fucking stove as a kid because we don't listen to people. And then we're like, oh,
Funny
and then it's like this
Funny
huge
fact to
insight.
build off of that. I don't mean to interrupt you,
No, you're
but
good.
think about this to add on to that. Did you know that as a human being, as an adult, you know what everything tastes like before you even put it in your mouth?
Tell me this. I want to learn about this.
Like plastic, you know what plastic tastes like. If I said if you were to put a lighter in your mouth right now, you would know what that texture and that would be like. Why? Because as a kid, you put everything in your mouth. Dirt,
I like that.
this, that.
I never even thought
So
about that. Yeah.
like you had to go through putting the nasty stuff in your mouth, but now as an adult, your brain evolved and registered. Oh, that's you know what dirt tastes like.
Which I
You know what
guess
plastic.
in this perspective, that could be metaphorical or literal. Since we're
Right.
talking about getting burnt by,
Right.
yeah.
And some people are like, "Oh, is it though?" You know,
this this lighter's gonna taste different.
different, right? If I scratch it first, it'll smell like it tastes, right? Like,
so I so that's something that I struggled with early on in my life is that I did not feel so I grew up in group home stuff like that. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I felt like I had to work extra for love, first of all. So I always carried that mindset with me. So when I found someone who could be a potential love interest, I would go above and beyond, thinking I needed to be very, very performative for them in order to gain that love, which can shoot yourself in the foot because that's not going to garner the respect that has to be there if you're going to receive that love. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it took me a long time to figure out because I've always been, God, I've got such a bad track history with dating and relationships that I definitely touched that fucking pan on that stove about 10, 15 times probably before I
It's
was like,
not a
oh, it's
bad
hot.
dating record. You have a track record of experience,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know.
So yeah, that's interesting. Where were we? Let's circle back to you being Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
do that. How does that affect? Were your parents? So explain everything about your lineage, the generational
So
stuff, how
so
you were raised.
yeah, I'm very open-minded,
Okay.
okay? Japanese, it was more of an educational mindset
Yeah.
of a structure. That was a huge difference that I didn't realize till I was older. That really was a difference.
Okay.
Like I thought it was just how you were raised. I'll give you some
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
Taking a shower. Most people go in, take a shower, wash themselves, get out,
Yeah.
right? Japanese, I go in and I shower off the dirt. I wash off the dirt. And then I wash my body. So I wash twice.
Okay.
And I realized talking to a homie one time, just on some homie brother to brother talk,
Yeah.
chilling and hanging out, that he doesn't do that. And he was like, so that's something that you guys were like, yeah, that's just normal. That's the process of taking a shower. That's what was normal. That's how you were taught to take a shower.
Okay.
You weren't though, homie? He's like, no, I just jump in, wash off. And I was like, yeah, but you never fully clean yourself. And he goes, all right, bro, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try
You gonna give
this,
me?
you
I'm
know.
gonna be doing that later. Now that's gonna be
And,
stuck in my
and
fucking head.
he goes, you know, homie, I come out feeling 1,000% fresher and cleaner after that
Yeah.
because you guys were on to something,
That that
you know.
that's actually pretty fucking. That's pretty logical.
Yeah, I guess like um, I do the cold water rinse at the end of a shower.
Okay.
Most people don't. That's normal.
Do you do that?
Hot water opens up the pores.
Yeah, does it for so hot water opens your pores, cold water closes them, right? And
So you
also,
open up your pores, you clean off the dirt,
yeah,
right, in the hot water,
yeah,
because it opens up the pore. You get it all off. Give yourself a good scrub,
yeah,
you know, because your pores are open in the hot water. Then once your pores are all the dirt is off, and you're not scrubbing dirt across your face or across your body
yeah,
anymore, right? And
yeah.
that's all rinsed off. Then take the soap and wash your body that's underneath the dirt,
Okay.
you
And then
know,
do
and
you
then turn
feel?
to the cold water and take all your pores and so they don't be open to get more dirt in later.
Do you feel a mood change after that cold water rinse? Because
Um,
I heard that that's a good dopamine rush. That can actually raise your dopamine, even just maybe a 5 minute rinse, cold water rinse after your shower. I'm too
I,
pussy.
I, I, I was taught just basically as like a close your pore
Okay.
process of a shower,
Okay.
right? This health stuff is the new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That adds to it. But I can tell you from a personal experience, I've done some cold plunges at hot springs before,
Okay.
and it if it feels like if your body was slow, it's now open. Like when a ice cube is frozen, it does not flow like water. But when you heat it up, that water starts to flow all over the place,
Yeah.
right? And it almost feels like you go through that experience having that cold shock. Like it almost tenses it up and makes it flow easier afterwards. Lack of a better way to describe
Okay.
it. Everything's flowing better. Everything feels more open. Everything kind of is more awake. You feel fresher.
Are you
If that
running on?
makes sense.
Are you running on cellular or Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi.
Okay. You're breaking up every once in a while. So I figured I'd just.
I
No,
apologize.
you are absolutely fine. Believe me, one time I did a podcast with this person, and they disappeared after 3 minutes, and it was just me talking like you couldn't hear them. It was just me freaking talking like the whole time it was funny. So that was interesting. Okay, what other stuff with the Japanese culture like enlighten us? Do you have more examples? Is there like how is the family structure, stuff like that? Because I'm curious about that.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I'm gonna try to make sure my connection stays strong here.
Okay.
The Japanese culture, it was very much about education and learning. Give me a moment. I'm gonna see if I can jump over.
Okay. Good.
Obviously, I did not pay attention and listen to you and join via my app on my phone.
Oh, see, phones are easy now. Phones,
I joined via my Wi-Fi on my laptop
yeah, phones are where the
because I felt
magic
like
is
it
at.
was. You are probably 100% right. Um, I might be able to jump over. We're gonna see. I'm
Okay.
loading it up on my phone.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
If I can
If you
jump over, I
can't,
will
then we
jump
can
over. So
cut.
that
If you can't, we'll put out part one, part two. We'll cut it and restart it right now, and we'll do a part one, part
I
two.
don't think so. I might pop up in another screen and close this one out.
Okay,
Is what
good.
I think will happen. Um, we'll find out. But I'm going to keep talking about the Japanese.
Yeah, keep talking about. I
So
want to learn all about this. So, just a little context. I just talked to my dad. I haven't talked to him in a while. He went and married a woman from the east, out of the country. I don't remember exactly where she's from, but there are a lot of people actually. They're called passport bros, where they have
okay,
stopped dating women in the United States and they've started kind of importing them. So that's what's got me kind of curious, is because my dad is all about that.
I well, um, it's funny. Uh, all I know is that they're very structured on learning. It's
Okay.
not about your achievements as much as it's about achieving your next achievement.
Okay.
As weird as that sounds, like it was never like good job, you achieved that. It's like what are you going to do with that next now that you got that?
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, I had to learn piano before I even went to elementary school. I had to have some kind of musical structure.
Okay.
I had to be able to cook or clean and do my own, be independent of some sort, of my own, wash myself, clean myself, be able to write, be able to read before I even went into elementary school.
Okay.
Um, like the standard growing up, and it isn't. I don't think it even is the standard anymore. But the standard growing up was you had to learn your first name, your last name. To be able to count to 10 was a good one. Your address and your phone number.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's pretty
know, and your
standard.
school. You know, um, to me it was a lot more. It was sweeping. It was mopping. It was dusting. It was playing the piano. It was learning musical structure. It was writing. It was reading. It was understanding awareness. There was a lot of talk from a very young age about your energy,
Okay.
your chi, your awareness, you know, how you exist in the world. Like, I couldn't go out in pajamas because I would be disgracing my whole family. That's not how my family raised me.
Okay.
You know, I'm honoring my family when I step out. And I'm connected to their energy because I'm their child and that's my family. There's honor in the family code and in the family thing. So there's you don't go out looking a disgrace because they're gonna be like, well, did your mother teach you that? And then your mother looks weird, and
Okay.
then their mother looks weird, and you just never set that energy tone. It was bad to just set that energy tone. Not that, oh, people are thinking about me and stuff like that, but more or less like you just don't give a reason for people to because it affects your energy,
Okay.
your inner chi, your inner chi. You know, then people are like, will come to that mother later on, like, oh, did you not teach your kid to dress nice or go out in public in nice pajamas? And then they have to deal with a bad energy interaction
Okay. That
with
makes sense.
somebody else.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of different offshoots of that. So it used to be something where your ancestors held a big place in your life, and your point was to honor your ancestors. I know a lot of people live by that. I like the idea because that's more of an old school idea to live, and I think that
Yes.
keeps things in perspective.
I believe that it's just an honor system, and it goes all the way back to ancestors you never met.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's like your great 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 grandfather Joseph was a samurai. Now people nowadays go samurai. Oh, that's like a huge thing. Samurai was the police in Japan,
okay.
and every village got a person that was kind of like the honorable soldier in the area that protected that area of the island or that town or something.
Yeah,
Just like we have police today, you
okay.
know. It's not like an army of some sort. It was more of just that's my homestead, so I'm the one dedicated to protect that area, you know.
That's
Um,
fascinating. That's kind of fascinating. I didn't know that. I did not know that about samurais. All we really know is
yeah,
they have a certain sort of sword. They've got a certain sword they use, and they stab themselves in the belly when they get disgraced, somehow to save
it's
honor.
dishonoring. It's when you do dishonor because it goes back to that energy.
Yeah,
They just took it a little bit more seriously,
yeah.
and that kind of goes back to the Asian thing. Is like people were willing to like their version of wearing your pajamas in public. I guess back then would be to start a fight and stab your enemy in the back without knowing he even had a fight
Okay.
going on. Dishonorable, right? Like
Yeah.
at least give the person that you're going to be willing enough to fight and kill the chance to defend, right? And
Yep.
if you did not fight by that honor code, then you're going to kill yourself because you held an honor to your thing, and then you're going to go out and just act like no one ever held any honor in your family in any kind of way
Do you think there's
ever.
do you think there's
Like
any correlation between that and how we run as a society right now, or do you think we've lost that sort of thing?
we've lost it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's a cultural thing.
Okay.
I think it's a cultural thing. Like if I were to go to Japan, it's not gone.
Okay.
But the thing is who's thinking of a worldly perspective,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that goes back to the self-actualization.
Okay.
Do you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Say that one more time.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay, I have never read that. I have
Okay,
explain, please.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can actually see it on the dollar bill. When you flip a dollar bill over,
Okay.
there's a pyramid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it has bricks, right?
Yeah.
At the top of the brick, what is it? Is an eyeball,
Yep, there's an eye in
and it's
there.
glowing, right? That's the id that we talked about earlier. That's the self-actualization that I've referenced earlier. And what people have done is they mapped it out a way to get there through Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
So that means fully understanding elements of your life.
Okay.
Like one element that is a high functioning, very dominant part of society and how the world works, right? Is food,
Yep.
religion, um, time, energy, your awareness of who you are. I'm going to pull up a Maslow's hierarchy of needs chart.
Do you think we can correlate that to anxiety at any point? Do you think that you need the perfect amount of self-actualization, or do you think that there's at any point where you can go overboard with it or get off track and turn it
I
into
think it's
anxiety?
meant I think it's meant to distract you
Okay.
if you don't know the things. So like at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it talks about food, sleep, water, biological and psychological needs,
Yeah.
right? Then it goes into safety, health, finances. That's those needs,
Okay.
and understanding how those dynamics work in life. Your health, your finances. These are called basic needs.
Okay.
Okay, these are just things that basically we need as humans to be able to function. And I'm pretty sure you can agree. You need to understand what you're eating, that's your food, how you're sleeping, your water intake, your biological and physiological working,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the balance of that. Right? That's
Yeah.
just a basic necessity
Yeah.
to do
Taking care of
anything.
yourself.
And then, right, and then the security, having security of yourself, having security of your mindset, having security in your religion and who you are, and where your place is, knowing thyself.
Okay.
Knowing thy health, knowing thy heart, knowing thy thing, and then having financial awareness. Financial awareness creates so much stability for people. Like just knowing that they don't have to live paycheck to paycheck,
Yep.
or knowing how to build on a financial standard of some sort, and have their money or compound interest or different things, or the market or banking or things that you just don't. And that's what I mean by those basic needs are not being taught in our day-to-day lives. They're not in
No.
schools. They're not taught to a lot of people. And that's just the baseline of reaching self-actualization. So I almost feel like they're removing the ability and making it more difficult to even have the basic needs met.
Yeah.
Then you go into the next step. I'm gonna keep going here.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
to keep running, but psychological needs. That's respect, status, recognition, strength, self-esteem, and it goes into loving and belonging, friendships, intimacy, family, and connections. Once you have the basic needs met, it's easier to understand your psychological needs
Okay.
and work on your psychological needs, and they stack on top of each other.
Kind
The
of like a
final one
foundation.
is like self-actualization, is meeting one's full potential in life, and different for every person. Like everybody's potential can be different. Knowing to respect thyself, knowing, and that's what I mean by before when we're talking about these criminal responses, knowing a hoe to be a hoe, bro, and like
Yeah.
knowing a bad representative to be a bad representative, or in music, knowing a bad deal from a bad deal, knowing thyself to be true, that you don't need to have that or to stand on that. Get your basic needs met. Find out where you stand socially in the world, psychologically, and all the rest of it, and be true to thyself. To thy own self, be true.
Okay.
But then you got to also, how I there's very much confusion, and how I like to take confusion and sort it is I put it through this filter, and I put it through this filter called it's nature versus nurture.
Okay. Yeah. I like nature versus nurture. I like that subject.
Right. Okay. So nature versus nurture. Is it nature, right? For self-esteem to be like, I'm not important unless that person thinks I'm important? Or is that nurture? Is that something outside yourself that you're being pushed to believe that's how you get balance in that perspective?
What
Which
do
is
you
esteem
think?
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
What do you
You know
think
what I
that
mean?
could be? Do you think, just to stop real quick on that point, do you think that could be nature or nurture? I've got kind of an idea that a lot of it is nurture. I got an idea that a lot of times, even when you're growing up, this will go into attachment styles with relationships. They've done a lot of studies on how mothers react to their babies, and babies, their needs getting met, and what did they need to do to get their needs met, or did they figure out their needs weren't going to get met and they started becoming more independent, which then affects their future relationships, or maybe they found out they had to cry more to get their needs met, which would make them more anxious in future relationships.
Right. But then at what point, yes, you're going to be influenced as you grow old through
Yeah.
these things. And that's where we're messed up, right? Is
Oh yeah, we're
no
all
one
fucked
looks
up.
at these stages and go, okay, I'm going to clarify this for myself once I'm old enough.
Yeah.
Like once I hit 25 and my frontal cortex develops
Yep.
and my full brain's firing and I got logic and I got reason to go with every experience I have, now I'm going to revisit things. And a lot of people don't. And I revisit nature versus nurture. I mean, most recently, and this is kind of controversial,
Yeah.
I want to let you know I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. That's
Yeah.
where I stand.
Okay.
Okay? But is God nature or nurture?
Okay, I could go down. All right, so I've got some stuff about this. If we,
Is Jesus nature or nurture?
okay, I think the
And then you have to
need.
look at where do we get influenced? Where are we being influenced?
Are
really deeply.
So our need for religion, right? I believe that we need to feel like there's something more important than us, or we end up living somewhat nihilistically because we can't
Yep.
just live for ourselves. I think we have to live to serve an idea, even if it's just an idea greater than us. And this is it's they talk about it a lot in addiction help and stuff like that. And I think it's a kind of a basic mental health type thing that if we're just
Okay.
living for ourselves, we start living nihilistically, Machiavellian. We start kind of, you know what I mean? But it isn't until so. What do you? All right. So to stop that real quick, 'cause I'm a little scatterbrained, and let's circle back to
Yeah.
do you think that we were talking about nature versus nurture, and you had brought
Yeah.
up I lost
I'm
myself.
throwing a lot. I'm sorry. Self actualization,
No,
the awareness of
it's good.
oneself,
Yeah. So do you
right?
think? Do you? Okay, this is where I was at. Do you think? Okay, I have an idea, rightly or wrongly, that we need something bad to happen in our life in order for us to kick ourselves in the ass. So I feel like we learn more when we stumble than when we make it. And sometimes that even lights more of a fire under our ass. Think about someone who was given everything as a kid and then they're given everything as an adult and they don't have to really work for it or suffer the pain of failure. And think about how they would approach life compared to somebody who has failed and they pick themselves back up and they failed again and they learn from that failure. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
do you think that in order to tap into your self actualization, in order to look deeper inside of yourself, something has to hurt to bring that up?
You have to touch the spots of your brain that are so comfortable with thoughts and reason
Yep.
and question it.
Okay.
Question it. And question it from the lens that it could be something that you're standing on that's completely fucking false and you've lied to yourself
Yep. Yeah.
your whole life. And that goes back to the nature versus nurture, and I think the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Is like,
Okay.
does that candy bar serve you? Does it really serve you though?
Yeah.
Does it really serve you though? Can you stop eating all the junk foods nonstop? And is that the reason why you're 300 pounds? See, now we're asking yourself questions that some people are not comfortable with going, yes, I'm fucking fat. I'm fucking overweight because I eat 300 Snickers and I drink 200 Dr. Peppers a fucking day and I do not go on walks. So I
Yep.
cannot go to a family barbecue. I cannot go to a concert. I have to say no because I'm hurting. Like now we're touching depression level thoughts,
Yes. Yes.
right?
I like
Like
that. I like that.
now we're touching depression. Like now we're going, but then it's being able to look at other things and go, I may not be able to do that, but I'm sleeping 8 hours a day, motherfucker. And I drink 30 gallons of water on top of it.
Yep.
So I'm good at this check mark and I'm good at this check mark, but can I correct this Snickers and this not exercising thing?
Yeah.
You know? And know that if I do that, it doesn't stop there. It's that purpose that we were talking about
Yep.
originally. I've achieved that purpose. I've met what they consider to be basic needs. And society holds the standard that that's basic needs. Like you don't go outside and poop in the street, you poop in a toilet. That's a basic understanding across the world. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Although I
so these basic needs need to start being talked about, need to be start being pushed without being a problem, without it turning into an internal depression talk and more of a purpose driven, I'm here to reach a self actualization. I'm not trying to stay at the bottom level at basic needs anymore. I'm going to be up there with you guys. I have purpose now. I have
why
a
do you
place to head towards.
So I have pooped in some pretty questionable places. I don't know why I had to bring that up, but I have pooped in some pretty places. I try to make it to the toilet most of the time. I don't think I've
We
shit
all
my
do.
pants for at least a year or two.
I mean, that's the easiest way to get out of work. I don't think your boss is going to check.
No, it's like hey, I actually shit my pants at work one time. I'm like, bro, you won't believe what happened.
I need a mental health day as a top of going home. Like,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so on the self-actualization, you know, why do you think, just your perspective or your opinion, why do you think it is easier for us to take an objective view of somebody else, if there's such a thing as an objective view? Because I have an idea that almost everything in life is subjective, and we don't have too many objective truths because we're all going to decipher those and look at those through our own personal lens. But let's get past
There's
that for a
one
minute. 'Cause that,
there's one ultimate truth.
yeah,
Someone actually put this to the test, and it was a philosopher named Descartes.
I know. All right. I'm somewhat familiar with Descartes.
He actually is on the same mindset as you with that thought, and wanted to put it to the test.
Okay.
But while Socrates and Plato and all these people were going up and being like, the sun is this, and the math is that, and the world is this, and the
Yeah.
world is that, and
Yeah.
this is what I know to be true. If you do this, and it adds up to this, and you can see it all maths out, right?
Yeah.
Descartes would be in the crowd and go, why?
Okay.
The sun is blue, but why?
Yeah.
Because the it reflects off the water and the third degree of the rotation of the sun and the prism of the. But why?
Yeah.
And he would write down these answers, and he would do it to the point where it would piss people off.
Okay.
Like, shut the fuck up, bro. No more whys. It just is what it is. Like that, because I said it is what it. It turns into arguments.
Yeah.
Right. He took all these answers that he wrote down for a long time, asked all the whys over and over, took all the answers and locked himself in a cabin.
Okay.
No distractions, no nothing, and started building what the spider web. This thought leads to this thought. This thing leads to this thing, and connecting the
That's
spider web.
fascinating.
Of,
Yeah.
right? To
Yeah.
be like, he's trying to find the core thought. Where all the thoughts
Yep.
combined. All the reasons why combined, right?
Yeah.
And they say he went crazy. Went fucking nuts.
You know, a lot of, Nietzsche went nuts. Nietzsche saw a horse being abused in a street and never talked again. Guy admitted to a mental hospital after that. No one knows why. A lot of the deeper thinkers, I feel like they go a little crazy.
He came out with one answer, though.
What was the answer?
He goes, you think, therefore it is.
Okay, I've heard that.
Because we think, therefore it is.
So everything is that's how I feel like everything, we're looking at it through our lens. Have you read Plato's allegory of the cave? See, I like that because we can kind of tap that into this context right here, because these people
Yeah.
were so comfortable watching the shadows and everything from outside on the cave wall, and that is a
I'm gonna
subjective.
put this. Shadows, Snickers bars, and malnutrition,
Yeah.
and all these other things that look appealing. The shadows on the wall.
Yeah, and then
That's not real nutrition. That's not real nutrition.
So they let them out of the cave, right? A guy got out of the cave and he saw what reality was, but he preferred his subjective view of reality, and he went right back to the cave.
No, he went back to the cave and told everybody, hey, there's something beautiful. You got to try, because he got skinny enough for the shackles to come off.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he's literally, that's all, he was born there, he grew there, the shackles grew to him, but due to malnutrition and just not having everything, eventually, but the will to do anything more than that, they thought that was just life. So they had no will or desire to leave the cave. One dude had the shackles fall off, and the wonder of, okay, I'm going to go see what else is over here. He finds the opening. He sees that it's shadow. He goes back to the cave and goes, hey, you guys need to have some will. Like, you guys
Yeah.
need to get up and come see this. But all they heard were, wah, 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 wah,
Okay.
wah, 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 because it was so far away from the opening.
Yeah. All right.
And they were just comfortable, so they never left their thing.
See, somehow I thought the tie-in there was he became disappointed when he went outside, and he preferred the cave and his subjective view on the cave wall of reality.
Interesting. I heard that he was upset because his people preferred the objective view.
I'm going to have to revisit that. They paint the allegory of the cave in a very political light, and I try to avoid the political part of it and just try to look at kind of the human. So
And that's
So
what I was saying before to the beginning, like reading the textbooks and reading older versions.
yeah, yeah,
Like you find that they've changed
yeah.
things in weird ways, and then you almost wonder why was this story told that way in 1923 and then told this way in 1995 when you read this
Could
version,
that be a
when you read this
cultural? Could
version.
it be a cultural influence? Could it be a societal influence
I mean,
of the
to
way
be
they're?
controversial a little bit, I can almost say, is the Bible nature versus nurture? Because it's been manipulated. It's the King James version.
Yeah, King James actually. Okay, so this is what I heard and what I studied. I don't know if it's true. King James was a politician, and he changed the Bible in order to serve him better as being a politician and to control the masses.
What I believe is there was one man, Jesus, and he was God, bro. And he came down and he didn't talk a lot.
Yeah,
Like the Bible's thick, right?
yeah,
He didn't talk a lot. But when he talked, it mattered.
yeah. People listened.
Okay? Okay? Now, the things that he talked about, that's true. That's power.
Yeah.
That's God, bro.
There's
Like
actually a
he's
lot of
performing
psychological
miracles,
truths. Yeah, there are a lot of
right?
psychological truths in the Bible.
Now, you can take what Jesus said. This is my personal belief,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
After reading the Bible a whole bunch, you can take what Jesus said and add George and Jimmy's and Tall and Matthew and all these people's perspective of that. But today we know of the perspective called the telephone game
Yeah.
and what happens when one information goes through another.
Yeah,
Jesus
lying a
is all
bunch of
you
people
need,
on the
bro.
wall.
I could write a book and call it a scripture, and as long as it has parts of what Jesus said, if I follow what Jesus said and build off of that, it's a religious document and
Okay.
it holds weight.
Okay.
Now, I say that because I was raised in a very dynamic religion aspect. My grandpa, Roman Catholic, Italian.
Okay.
My mom, I grew up Mormon. She left when she grew up. She became Mormon.
Okay.
And the Mormon has the Book of Mormon and the Pearl of Great Price and the Doctrine and Covenants
Yeah.
and this book and this book and this book and this book. But then when you start reading all of these books in a whole and you pull out what's meaningful, right? The rest of the stuff falls away. There's only one message
Okay.
there for me.
That
And they're all trying to deliver their message or their version of a message in different books. The Quran, the this, the that, the this, the that, all these different religious texts. When really, Jesus was the way. He is the way. If you just love like he loved, be like him, follow the commandments, listen to his word, it's not a big book and it's not difficult. Like,
okay. That I like that.
do
I
you know
like
what I
that
mean?
perspective. To circle back, objective versus subjective. Why
Yeah.
do you think it is easier for us to analyze somebody else and take a look at their lives? Because you were very correct when, like, okay, I eat a bunch of Snickers bars for whatever dopamine rush or whatever is driving me to do that.
Yeah.
And then because I'm doing that, I done shot myself in the foot because I'm 400 pounds, and now I'm going to avoid going to certain places out of anxiety and depression because I'm 400 pounds. And it seems like if you're looking at that from an outside perspective, that
Right.
you can really figure out where they're fucking up. You're like, well, you're doing it to yourself. Why is it
It's
harder for
looking
us
at
to look at
yourself in
our?
a negative way and being okay with it.
So why would that be
It's not
easier?
the end of the world, right? Like, so are you alive? Did you wake up today?
All right.
Yes. You know, like that's you can be 400 pounds and make your bed.
Yeah. But why do you think it is easier for us to look at other people and see that happening with other people than to ourselves?
I think it's because we lack that basic understanding of Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Okay. This circles
You
back.
know, and that's what it circles back to is it's not as basic as wiping your butt. If it was, would we have even gotten to that level?
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and being okay, it's easy to be deterred when they got 1,000 Snicker commercials,
Yeah.
and when you're hungry. You know, why don't they have a salad commercial? I've never seen a commercial for a salad, bro.
They don't do that. They're going to cater to what people want. They're going to cater to our cheap impulses. because people don't buy salads like they buy fucking Snickers bars. And just to throw
Okay.
out a quick statistic, the average American is now more obese than the average American pig, which is
See, and my grandma used to say this. This is a weird saying, and it just to give some perspective. My goes, Americans eat with mini pitchforks and shovels, Joseph.
that's that. All right, I never even thought about it like that. The Japanese eat with
They
chopsticks.
use two sticks.
Yeah,
They use two sticks. You can only grab what two sticks hold,
yeah,
okay? And you can eat. Like, it takes time to eat it. And when you eat it, your brain processes. When you shovel a large amount
that
with little mini pitchforks and shovels, you're putting more in to your brain doesn't have time to register that you even ate what was.
that's fascinating to me. It would be fascinating to me digging into the psychology behind that and how it started. Why do we
You
eat
want
with
to lose
spoons and
weight?
forks? Huh?
You want to lose weight? I say if you want to lose some weight,
Use some
throw your
chopsticks.
spoons and forks away and
Yeah,
start eating with chopsticks.
that's a.
And if you can't eat with them, learn. You're going to develop some dexterity of some sort,
I would definitely.
some hand-eye coordination to you're going to want to eat,
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm a definite shovel person. I'll be a shovel person. I,
it's funny that you say that because I met bodybuilders, and bodybuilders burn so much more calories
yeah,
that the
yes,
intake has to be higher.
yes,
So you're doing more with it
yeah.
than just taking the intake of calories,
So
from
what?
what I understand. I don't know bodybuilding that well, but that's what I've
Yeah,
been told.
you're trying to. You've got a baseline of calories that would keep you at your weight, and then you have to go over the calories. So it gets it's I approach it in a very dumb way, and I shovel food in my face until I notice I'm getting a little fat, and I slow down on the food. So I don't really do any of the math or the scientific stuff behind that. I just keep an eye on the mirror, and I think if people kept an eye on the mirror instead of scale, I think they'd be a lot better off. Um, what else are you passionate about that we have not talked about?
Just people reaching that potential. Like, I wish that these discussions happened a little bit more commonly.
Yeah,
And I want people to be less sensitive. I think that's
yeah,
the distraction that we're facing a lot of is like Harvard Business School doesn't care about your emotions. Are you here to build yourself
yeah,
as an individual? Then you can't let your emotions rule everything. They have to be a sign that steers you, that doesn't control you. Like, you're going to fear anger so that you can fight and defend yourself
yep.
when the time needs to defend yourself,
And so
not to
a
just
boundary has been crossed.
right, knowing thyself. And I think that people need to be okay with hearing that they're overweight and or not doing something, and presenting. People need to present more with solutions instead of problems. Things shouldn't
Yeah,
be problem driven,
that's
and this is the perspective that I'm passionate about, and I'm hoping that a musician or people or just being able to talk to you on this
yeah,
opens up to whoever watches this to be like, it's okay to suck.
yeah,
It's okay to be depressed.
yep,
And on the other side of that is the answer to not feeling that ever again. I
yep,
promise you.
yep.
Like, know thyself and look for the silver linings in life. Understand, look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs is one thing I would suggest, and maybe Eric Erickson's 8 stages of development.
Okay.
And Eric Erickson says that through certain stages of your life, you're supposed to learn certain skills. And you learn trust when you're a baby with your parents and learn these different skills. If you're aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Eric Erickson's 8 stages of development, and you apply it through a lens of nature versus nurture to know here's where people are influencing the subject, and here's where the universe is providing solid truth.
Okay. I like that. Will you
Right?
send me those books after we wrap up? I got some back end stuff to do. Will you send
Yeah.
me just the title of those books so I can put them? I'll copy and paste it underneath the episode.
They're not even books. They're psychological studies.
Okay, then send me the titles to them
Okay.
because
Okay.
I will forget.
Okay.
I'll remember I won't know the spelling. So
That's all right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we
But
can
people,
post it
and I mean,
underneath.
love thyself. Go through the dark things. I'm passionate about personal development and growth because I believe that there is something inside a human being out there that is on the other side of just knowing some of this stuff
Yeah,
to be able to unlock beautiful things for the rest of society, earth, the world, future development. It could be a song that changes the nations. It can be a medical development, or maybe a doctor that saves a kid's life, or maybe we have less suicides, or men being proud of men, and
yeah.
being able to be self aware of who we are and being confident on where we stand. I believe you can be whatever you want. You can be Mormon, Catholic, whatever you want, as long as you dive in and know thyself to be true and can stand on that with confidence and reach your version of self actualization. Do it and change the world. And
What
I want people to do that.
what put you on this path?
Um,
There had to have been something.
suffering,
That's what I'm getting at. So,
suffering.
let's
It's
dig into that
I
for a
grew up
minute.
with adults with disabilities
Okay.
in my home,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And everybody treated them like objects,
Okay.
like a paycheck, like a person that wasn't capable, and you know, I I never had to look at it through the lens growing up having someone live in my home
Yeah.
as a job or a responsibility. It was more like a roommate or a person living with me.
Okay.
While everybody else treated them like a task or a job or time to take your meds, gotta feed you, gotta do
Yeah.
this, gotta take you to a doctor, gotta do that. I was like, yo, bro, you like Ben 10? You like X-Men? You like comic books, bro? Like, like what's behind all this extra shit? Because since we're sitting here,
Yeah.
and learning that, some of these guys have a mindset that's more intellectual than people who have no disabilities.
Okay.
They've enlightened me to perspectives of the world that I'm like, what the fuck? You should be on a book,
That we
bro.
take for
Like if
granted.
you look at it, like the Stephen Hawking's wheelchair dude
Yeah.
can't talk,
Yeah.
most intelligent mind in the world.
Yeah.
Imagine how many people have something to add to the collective consciousness or the collective idea
That
that's behind that, and they just can't get there.
and that we're taking for granted. We're taking that perspective for granted. Where what do you
And most
okay.
people didn't want to sit down and have a conversation with them, and sometimes that's all it took to open it up.
Yeah, I think we're uncomfortable with that sort of thing. I think it ties into our uncomfortability with grief. So we're uncomfortable if you notice if someone's going through a really hard time, especially men. I don't know how women handle it. We become somewhat uncomfortable with them. We can show some empathy for a minute, but then we tend to kind of back away and hope that they quit going through their hard time because we don't want. I don't know if it's because we think it's going to rub off on us. I don't know what makes us uncomfortable with that, but I think we've shame, grief, all that stuff. We have kind of started to cancel that out. Shame is looked at as a bad thing, but I think if we circle back to the obesity or the self actualization and the just being told honestly something like, look, bro, you're fucking up, or look, bro, you're fucking up in this area. I see it. And being able to tell somebody like that, we used to be able to do that. We thousands of
We
years
used to
ago, we
present it
did that.
differently,
We
though.
passed information along.
That part. Oh man, I feel bad about that part. We used to pass information along. If I came to you and was like, "Yo, bro, you're overweight. You're not eating right." That's bad. Oh, come on. Good.
Yeah, very good.
If
Good.
I came to you and was like, "Yeah, bro,
Hold on a
you're
second.
overweight."
You're
Nope.
freezing up one more time.
That's all right.
All
I
right,
think I'm
start
back.
over.
So if I tell you you're overweight, but I don't tell you how to not get overweight,
Yep.
the information needs to be passed along.
So
It's
we're
not just the awareness.
so we're
It's
also
the
looking
awareness with the information.
and we're also looking at the delivery. Okay. So what
Yes.
I have a kind of a tradition with guests on the podcast where I ask them something somewhat personal at the end. What what are you still struggling with? What personally do you talk to your pillow at 3 in the morning? What do you, you know, these thoughts? Because we all still struggle with things, no matter how much self work we do, no matter we still have those intrusive thoughts that we don't like to talk to people about. What do you struggle with?
Balance between self-sabotaging for the greater good.
Okay, you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I care more about seeing other people around me succeed sometimes
Okay.
than making any time for myself to succeed. To give a deeper, clearer perspective, um, my family is telling me now that it's and teaching me something that I never did myself because I thought it was not appropriate and I just didn't feel the need to do it. Was pray for myself.
Okay.
I would pray for other people, like please bless my homie, he's struggling. Please bless my family. Please bless my kids. Please bless my house for things outside myself
Yeah.
that maybe somewhat maybe affect me, but more or less I cared more about blessing and praying for other people that I it didn't think it was okay to even you're supposed to pray selflessly
Yeah.
for others, not for yourself,
Do
not
you
with an ego,
Do you think
you
there could
know. And
be a core belief behind that too? Do you think that there could be a belief about yourself that you still hold on to?
yes,
Okay.
and it dwells into the culture of the Asian too. Being Asian may be cool, but it's not great.
Yeah.
It's filled with more questioning yourself than anything,
Okay.
and that can lead to some self doubt if you're
Okay.
not careful enough to learn how to pick yourself back up.
Okay.
You know, like it's it's easy to go, oh, I accomplished this, but it's not enough, and that eventually feels draining.
Yeah. I understand
You
that.
know, like there at some point something needs to be enough to feel some sort of purpose to keep going.
Yeah.
And I've always found that outside than inside. Um, I'd show up and be your spotter on a bar before I would work out myself,
Okay.
kind of person.
Yeah.
And I've sabotaged opportunities. I feel, and just being okay with that is something at 3 a.m. that I struggle. Should I be more selfish? Should
Yeah.
I be more selfish? I got the knowledge. I got the I
Yeah.
got the mindset. I got the should I do it more for me than for everybody else? But if I do it for me, then
Do you think
I'm
do you think thinking of that as selfish? Do you think you could reframe that? Do you think that maybe I'm a strong believer that if we pour into our own cup, we have enough to
Mhm.
pour into others.
Yeah, I think it goes back to going maybe I wasn't raised all the way right
Okay.
and being okay with that.
Yeah.
Being okay with I wasn't raised right. I was put I had the Asian pressure.
Yeah.
And yes, I may know music and I may know a lot nowadays, but there was the time when I told my mom, I was like, I don't know why my family put so much knowledge because ignorance is really bliss. Like
It
there are some
is.
dumb motherfuckers with some big ass smiles on their faces,
Yeah.
bro. like, and I'm like, how the
That's
fuck
the truth,
do you
bro.
live that way, bro? Like,
People who peel back the layers or tug on the strings of the fabric of reality or what we think of as reality tend to be some of the that can go either way. That can help you out in life and that can also hurt you because I think it can make you depressed. I think if you figure out the way we all run and the way things run, I think it can be kind of disheartening if you're looking at it in the wrong frame.
yeah, I
So
do struggle with that. And late at night, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough the right way? Maybe if I did more for myself,
yeah,
I would be able to do more for others. Am I doing this backwards? But I have so much heart,
yeah.
so
Thank you.
you juggle that
Yeah, thank you for that.
3 a.m.
That was really a lot of people I'll get on here and they'll just give me kind of a surface level answer. I always go with it, but it's always, you can always tell when something's a surface level answer and when someone really digs a little deeper. So I appreciate that. Thank you
It
for that.
it hurts even more in the morning on that one too because it sets you up. Are you going to be selfish today?
Yeah,
Or are
yeah,
you going to do more for others than for yourself?
yeah,
Because you had that thought last night at 3 a.m.
yeah.
So you're going to move differently today? You're going to be more selfish? And then someone comes along and goes, "Oh, I need this." And you're like, there's that heart.
And then before you
And
know
I'm
it, you're having another 3 a.m. thought the next fucking day. It can compound on itself. So you help a lot of people out. Let's say there are some struggling local musicians or somebody who needs your help. How do they reach you? What is a good place to
you can
reach you? Do you have, what kind of social media do you have?
So here's the beautiful part
Yeah.
is I'm an open dude. I'm 90s style. I used to pick up the phone and just call people and talk
Okay.
to people.
Okay.
And I love that connection because it gives me more context.
Okay.
My name down there, Ivory, Iverie. It's my middle name. I'm the fourth.
Yeah.
I'm Joseph Ivory Taylor the fourth. That's my middle name. It's one of a kind. You put that into a Google, you can find me.
Okay.
There's not a lot of people with that name anywhere, and then none of my other forefathers liked it. I'm the one that leaned on it, so
Okay.
it's out there.
Yeah. Do
Um,
you?
and reach out to me and say, "Hey, how you doing? I would love to talk more with you." And I like I said, I like to speak to people's desires. I like to hear what people are desires. I like to hear where they're struggling, and I like to know maybe I have that mindset. I feel like God has given me this life and all these experiences to be able to have these knowledge to help others.
Yeah.
So I got to put myself open and out there to be like, what do you need help with? And if I have that answer, you can have it. You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That can help you turn something that could be a negative experience into your life, and that could actually take you can actually take that thing, repackage it, and help other people. And in a roundabout that way, that made that a positive experience in your life because you turned it into something positive for somebody else. So are
Yeah.
you are you okay with
I'm
people
opening
adding?
conversations. Yeah.
Are you okay with people adding you on Facebook? If they see this and they're
Add
like,
me.
you know what, I'd
Hit
like
my
to.
messenger. You
Okay,
know?
good, good, good. All right, brother, we're
Yeah.
at
Don't
82
be a
minutes.
stranger.
We're gonna call it a day. It was good. It was good fucking talking to you. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. That flew by.
Thanks
Honestly,
for having me.
I looked up at the time and I was like, holy fuck. So I appreciate you on here. Thank you, brother. I'm going to
Yeah.
do
Thank
uh,
you.
Yeah, I'm going to do a bunch of back end stuff and then put this on a couple different platforms. And I will tag you in it on Facebook. And I will also send you the link on Messenger before I post it on Facebook.
Hey, and anybody watching, if you want to hear more of this type of stuff, hit up his inbox. Let him know,
Yeah.
hey, I want to hear more about that subject with Joe. Let him know that you want to hear more. Give him the topic, and maybe you can
Yep.
have me back on sometime
Yeah.
if there's a
No,
lot of
that.
people interested in that kind of stuff. We can build off some of the things we talked about and go farther in
Yep.
depth. So please hit up his YouTube. Much love. Thank you for having me on the 3 a.m. Pillow Talk. I appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. You have a good day, man. Thank you.
Many blessings.